Occasionally correct, often wrong, but never jejune. Our guest today, Dr. Robert Heinemann, back with us after I've been away for a while, and he'll be giving you his views on the world in just a moment.
It's time for the Newsmaker Show on News Talk AM 1480 WLEA. Here's Kevin Torres.
Dr. Heinemann, I was in Phoenix, as you know, and I'm tired of saying this on the radio.
I suppose the courteous thing would be to welcome you back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, thank you. And I listened to you on the Internet.
Oh, across the world, our thoughts
well,
are being...
not across the world, but Phoenix.
Right.
And you described Sotomayor as a devout Catholic. Do you have some knowledge of her soul?
No, I don't.
No.
I don't. No, but perhaps I spoke out of turn.
I think you did. I screamed at the TV.
Oh, good. Well, I think it's important to get audience reaction.
Yeah.
So
what it makes you an expert on who's devout? I always got to.
No, I understand that. Please, I know that you're the one who defines whether you're
I don't define it. I have no idea.
I had stepped far way over the boundary there.
I have no idea the state of her soul, but I wondered how you knew.
Who's a true conservative? Who's a real Republican? Who's a good
Wait a minute,
Catholic?
you're going way past this.
Well, but I think you don't hesitate to step in there.
You got to go back to Cardinal Gibbons to understand all this, and I don't think you're that old.
Probably not. Yeah. No.
Now, listen,
yes.
We have some serious matters to deal with.
Could you find one there?
I've got it right here. Yesterday on the award-winning Newsmaker Show, I had Dr. Koff with me from University of Colorado, and I said, listen, Chris, it's Chris and Kevin.
Yeah, he's a fine man. I introduced you to him, but that's all right.
No, you did not.
Yes, I did.
You did not.
At one of our conservative meetings, I said, here's Chris Koff. And
I had him on the air long before that.
Oh, okay.
All right. I mean, I'd never met him, perhaps, but I had him on the air.
Indeed, yes.
All right, here we go. Heinemann, isn't it? All right, here we go. I asked him if his colleagues at the University of Colorado, most of whom are socialists or worse,
well, yes,
have most
Ward
professorial.
Churchill, who is no longer there.
Yeah, but I mean, most college professors are in that la-la land of socialism. And I asked him if even his colleagues are getting a little tired of Obama, and do they still believe him? And he said no.
They're not tired of him, or they don't believe him?
Both. Oh, no, they are tired of him, and they don't believe me.
Right.
That's a real credibility problem.
Right.
Now, I'm curious if that's true among your colleagues. Not
yes,
necessarily.
no, I think that's certainly true, yes.
Even the liberals are saying
yes,
there's something wrong here.
Well, I think so, and I think one of the problems from the liberal perspective is that he's not liberal enough for them, and he's not doing anything for them as liberals. So the guy, frankly, I think, is beginning to look at this as kind of an extended vacation on the taxpayers' money.
Oh, yeah.
And as long as he can continue to do nothing, I guess I don't have any real problems because the economy's taken off. And
it is not taking off.
The market is looking very good. And
Bob.
He's made me a rich man. Wow.
Well, maybe you.
Uh-huh.
Considering you have the first nickel. I don't know if you got the first nickel, but you know who has that you ever made. Now, I want to ask you a question, and I'm serious about this now. This is a real question. CNS News had a piece on the other day, and on CNS News on the Internet, one of the Internet newspapers, Terry Jeffrey is the
what
editor
does he do
there.
With it?
He's the editor of it. All right,
yes, okay.
They pointed out that more jobs have been lost under Obama. 1.6 million fewer people are working. Price of gasoline has gone up dramatically. But here's the part that really wowed me, and I didn't see this in CNS News. I saw this in the Wall Street Journal. 92 million, actually it's 91.8. Let's round it out to 92 million Americans. 92 million Americans have dropped out of the workplace. They just can't find jobs, and they're not there. All right? 92 million, Bob.
Yeah, well, you have to be a little careful, as you probably know, with those numbers. That doesn't mean they're not out making money somewhere, Kevin.
Under the table? Or?
Yes.
Well, I know, but 92 million aren't making...
No, that's a lot. Yeah. No, I don't know what... so what do you think they're doing?
I don't know, but here's the point.
Well, they're not starving. I mean, I walk down the streets in Hornell. I don't see people standing out there selling pencils and apples and things.
Yet. They're not doing it yet. All right, now listen. Right. But I'm serious about this. I want you to help me through this.
I can't help you.
If 92 million people who could work are not working, and the total force of Americans who, are eligible to work out of the 350 million, 154 million people could work.
Right.
If everybody was working, 154 million people would be working, and 92 million have just dropped off the face of the earth as far as work is concerned.
So you got only 60 million left who are working?
You have a situation where only 40% of the American people who could work are working. I mean, that's depression level.
Well, I'd have to look at those. No. Come on.
If this is
They're
true.
They're not anywhere near where the economy is pumping along at a...
Are you serious?
I'm absolutely serious. Well, one of the problems here is that the substance of the economy, the characteristics of the economy are dramatically different from what they were 30 years ago, let alone 50 years ago. So that I can see where you would have large numbers of people who, for example, are not computer literate. I don't know if you saw the latest CNN report on college athletes at Division I state schools who, 10% or so of them, maybe more, cannot read at the third grade level.
Yeah. But they're getting...
And then you wonder why they don't have jobs. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, then you wonder... you got No Child Left Behind. And the point of this CNN report, first of all, it was interesting that Auburn and Alabama did not respond to the survey. Probably didn't have time. I don't know. Maybe they couldn't read it. But the point is that it's a total, what do I want to say, tragedy, I guess. So you have all this discussion about getting these kids to learn how to read and write. And the point that I think was missed in this survey and the report of it is because they reported, we have counselors and tutors at the schools, and you can take a kid who can't read at the third grade level, and you can get them so they can read, I don't know, at the sixth grade level before they graduate. I don't know. But that's not the point. The point here, Kevin, is these kids aren't interested in learning to read or write. They don't care about college at all. And so we put them in college, and it's a total exploitation and corruption of the American educational system. I mean, total. I'm not, some of these kids can read and write, and, then some of these schools will come up, went on to medical school, well, sure, some of them can, in fact, read, some of them are actually college students. But a huge percentage of them don't get, especially at the Division I level. I'm not talking Division
You're
III.
talking about the big-time football.
Yeah.
Okay.
The money, and basketball and baseball and the money and the media need and use for these things is so huge it has totally corrupted American education. And so they're just not interested. Now you're talking to me about, 90-some million people aren't in the workforce. Well, they can't work. They can't. I was, again, listening to YNN the other night, Liz Benjamin, I think it was Wednesday night, I'm not sure, and she was talking to Zimfer, who is the chancellor for the New York State SUNY system. And this woman is a piece of work, I want to tell you. She's talking about requiring for all college in the SUNY system have to have a fieldwork experience or an internship. Because, then they may well go on to use these to get jobs. And that's certainly true. There's no question about that. But she doesn't understand. You can't put some of these kids out in internships and fieldworks. They're a total embarrassment. And the idea that a business is going to say, well, yeah, we'll take Joe Schmo, and what are we going to do with him? What is she? So the understanding of the American educational system, I think, it's just unfortunate. It's being corrupted by forces with money and power far beyond what teachers have, and especially at the college level, the Division I level. Now, there are a few schools, and again, the study was just state schools. It wasn't private schools because they couldn't get the information from private schools. But obviously, some of these private schools, Georgetown, Notre Dame, Stanford, I mean, they are they're solid schools, and I expect even their athletes can read and write once they graduate. But it's sad, Kevin.
Did you hear
sad.
what happened in Chapel Hill at the University of North Carolina?
I followed that, yes.
The professors weren't going to class, and they started to take roll call on the professors because they were teaching African American studies to students who didn't show up most times. So the prof said, why should I go?
Right.
So, but they still got paid. And the Raleigh newspaper, I don't know what the title of the paper is, they exposed it. That now they're doing not a roll call on the kids. They don't show up anyway.
Punch in when you come in.
The teachers have to. I mean, you're right. It is absolutely ridiculous. But I don't know how you solve it. I have a solution, by the way, but I don't think it'll work, and that is to get rid of big-time college sports.
Yes, well, I agree with that 100%.
Right, and have like minor league football,
right, absolutely,
minor league basketball, minor league baseball, as they used to do in the old days.
I have no problem with Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, LeBron James. They never went to college. Because it's a job, and I don't care if they can read or write or not. Now, James and Kobe Bryant, they're both pretty bright people. But Kevin Garnett, I don't know. But the point is, I don't care whether they can read or write. They play basketball very well. What's what they're getting paid for? They're entertainers.
Yeah, but they shouldn't be in college.
No, absolutely not. Can you imagine what these guys do on the college campus? How that corrupts the whole college ambience?
It would be.
The idea of going to class, etc.
Yeah.
I mean, in some of these other schools, not to get into some of the other examples, but it's just sick. Yeah, right. I think if they want to play football or baseball, and in baseball you do have the minor leagues, and there's some of that.
A lot of them are just college things too.
Yeah.
But most of those kids are coming out of small colleges. Yeah, they should have. I don't know who is in charge of all that. I assume the academics, but they ought to say, no, we're not doing that anymore. If you guys want to have a training camp or a training system for your future players, set up minor league football, minor league
what's
baseball.
interesting is the NCAA obviously has a lot of say in this, and they have a lot of money at stake in this too. But the concern about kids going right out of high school to play basketball led to the requirement that they had to be at least 1 year in college. Now, is that absurd or what?
Yeah.
What are they doing?
It's absurd.
Yeah, and I think they're backing off that now.
Now, we should point out you're talking about Division I.
I am talking about Division III. I don't have any problem with.
I mean, the kids that play for Alfred, the kids who play for Alfred, they have to go to class like everybody else, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the relationship, the coach is on them if they're not going to class and such. And in most Division III schools, I think that's true. But unfortunately, this whole orientation is drifting down into the Division III area as well. But no, that's why I teach at Division III schools and small schools, and I agree with you. The small schools that's where I'd be sending my kids to college.
That's where they get the better education.
But the whole problem there is, and again, increasingly we're getting these MOOCs. We're getting this online training, which to me, again, is not what education is about.
I want to move along on
Go ahead.
something else.
I've obviously bored you.
No, you've not bored me at all. I'm glad that somebody is finally taking a stand.
Happy to speak up. Stand
Excuse
up.
me, I dropped my Phi Beta Kappa key.
Yeah, right.
Let me get that. All right.
No, it's lost.
Okay. What's going on in New York State politics? You got Trump,
Yes.
Who probably would wallop Cuomo. Cuomo's not the sharpest, not the sharpest tool in the shed. I think Trump would take him right to the cleaners. And here you've got the state chairman, Cox. What's his first name? Ed Cox, son-in-law of Richard Nixon, and I guess a fine fellow.
Oh, a very fine fellow.
But he's trying to discourage Trump so he can run a guy from Westchester that no one ever heard of.
Right.
What is that about? I mean, you're a Republican.
Well, I think this whole thing has been quite interesting, and I think Bill Noje deserves a lot of credit for stirring the pot here. And I would bet that Sheldon Silver is going to do everything he can to get Bill Noje out of the state assembly.
He won't do it.
Well, he may have a problem doing that, yeah. But I'll bet he'll go after him because this guy is obviously a real pain in the neck to those people in Albany. And what this shows, this whole Trump thing shows, and Ed Cox, and again, Ed has been a good friend of mine.
Yeah. Okay.
But the power of vested interests in the Republican Party is no different from the power of vested interests in the Democrat Party.
Well, these people in the government business is what I'm calling it now, the government business.
I think that's a fair...
You're darn right it is. They make good money, they have long careers, and they have tremendous retirement, and all they got to do is stick it to the taxpayers when they want to raise.
Right.
Why don't the Republicans want to win?
I'm telling you why the Republicans... it's not us... Kevin, we'd like to win, but the people in Albany, and I think it's mostly out of the state Senate, frankly, they're concerned about holding on to their majority, and there's obviously something going on here that we don't see and don't know about. If you look at New York State politics, it's not been unusual, for example, for one party to help out another party to maintain their power in Albany. And I don't think, frankly, Cuomo minds having the Republicans in control of the state Senate.
No, the place would go really crazy then. Yeah,
he can play the one off against the other. And again, listen to Lynn Benjamin the other night. She was talking to the mayor of Syracuse, who's a co-chair of the Democratic Party, and the county executive of Syracuse is a woman who's a Republican. And Liz suggested that Cuomo is thinking of having the Republican county executive run as his lieutenant governor in the next election. Now, I've never heard that, but at any rate, the woman from the mayor had no comment on it. She wasn't sticking her neck in that. This kind of I'm a Democrat and you're a Republican, and that's the advantage of Trump. You see, Trump would stand outside that. And the power of various interests to try to push him around, it just wouldn't be there.
Let me cut to the chase. Let's get rid of Ed Cox then.
Well,
if he's going to stand between the New Yorkers,
you can't get rid of Ed Cox because he the party committee and the people in the that are in power.
Do the party committee chairs throughout the state of New York agree with Cox that it's better to lose, and somehow everyone makes out well, or should we win? I mean, Trump would probably take in some senators with him. Trump would clobber Cuomo. He really would.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I think he would.
I don't want to get too carried away here.
No, Cuomo's not that
As
sharp.
a candidate, he would provide a lot of But again, his idea that, I'm not going to run if I have to primary against the Republicans and get torn up in that kind of race is, I think, wrong. I think, first of all, if you're going to run as a person ready to carry the Republicans on to something higher than what they are, you're obviously going to face vested interests. And the point is, you don't fiddle around with that. You run from the very beginning against Cuomo, and just keep rolling on that.
But he won't do it. He's already said he won't do it.
I know. And so I think that's his way of saying, well, I don't know if I could win or not.
Well, I think he's saying, if you guys don't want me, I'm not going to waste my time. If you're going to start sabotaging me.
I think that's the wrong focus. Well, see, that's where we got off focus. The focus of asking Trump to run was, would he like higher office? Would he like to be elected president, for example? Mm-hmm. If he were to defeat Cuomo, he would be automatically the leading Republican candidate for the presidency. I mean, if you really want to be president, that would be the ideal opportunities here right now. And if that's the case, fine, we'll help you. If you go in there and say, well, gee, we need your help to get this, and we'll, he doesn't, I don't think he really cares about helping out the Republicans. So the focus has changed.
But then again, the Republicans don't care about helping Republicans.
Well,
I don't blame them.
Clearly a lot of Republicans, too. I think OJ stirred up a lot of people.
Good for Bill.
Like this guy Palladino out of
he's
Erie
ticked.
County.
He's ticked.
No. I mean, and it's legitimate. Unfortunately, that guy is way, way too rough around the edges to make it. What we got to do is find another billionaire somewhere who's willing to step forward and really carry the flag. But no,
with name recognition.
It's going to. It's going to be.
You're not going to do it.
A disaster.
It's going to. And we're going to get 4 more years. By the way, one final thing. As I was reading the Wall Street Journal out in Phoenix, because nobody reads if they got any brains, the Arizona Register or whatever it's called, Phoenix Register, Republic, yeah. The Democrats, whenever they get in power, they push 3 things very strongly: marijuana use, gay marriage or just the homosexual agenda, and abortion. Is that enough to carry the whole country?
No. Not by any means.
What are the Republicans going to stand for?
Well, that's the problem the Republicans have. See,
we'll take that up next week, okay?
All right.
What do the Republicans? Democrats are offering more marijuana?
No, I think you put your finger on the well, maybe for once, put your finger on the main point here. I think the Republicans have a serious problem here, yes. And they have a problem in New York State. I mean,
they might as well just cash in New York and join the other guys and stop fooling around. And next week, we'll also talk about why Bridgegate gets more attention than abuses of the IRS. But we know what's going on there.
Yes.
That's it for now. Stay tuned for more news and information. Thank you, Dr. Bob. Wonderful seeing you again.
Well, it's refreshing, yes.
Anyone buy you lunch while I was gone? Did you?
I hung
more
around.
Importantly, did you buy lunch?
I hung around.
I didn't think so. All right, thank you.